This is my Bugatti. Well, it's actually a fake one I bought off the internet and it turned out to be a huge scam. So recently I put an engine in this thing to make it drive, and today we're gonna take it a step further and turn this thing into a boat. So let's go, let's see if it'll work. Previously, we had this Bugatti powered by this giant RC monster truck. There is a 2-stroke 50cc gasoline motor in here, and we use this as a power plant to make this thing run and drive, fully remote control, and actually strong enough for me to sit on the roof and drive. The first step to turn this thing into a drivable boat is to separate the two pieces, pull out the wooden frame that we got, and extract the monster truck. That is what we've done already, and now the next step is to install a different type of motor. Not a gasoline engine, but something called a jet thruster. And that is exactly what we have back here, which is super exciting. These are electric powered jet thrusters, fully waterproof. They're meant to go in the water. And we're gonna be strapping these on the side and figuring out all the wiring to make this Bugatti a drivable boat where we can actually put it on the water and drive it. I hope it works, but there's only one way to find out, because first we need to do a float test. In order for a boat to be a boat, it needs to float. And when I first bought this thing off the internet for $30,000, I did in fact think it was a real Bugatti. But once I unboxed it, I quickly realized the Bugatti wasn't real, and that this thing is entirely made of foam, which is not good for a Bugatti, but it's awesome for a boat. So we're gonna be putting it up on the lift right now, and we are gonna see what we think is gonna happen when we drop this into the water. I think it's gonna be super easy to turn this Bugatti into a boat, because if you look underneath, it's entirely made of foam. I mean, that is literally the material that it's made of, so it's gonna float incredibly well.
I mean, yeah, it's made of foam, but it's like the shape of an upside down boat. I mean, look, there's like this huge cavity here. It's gonna go in the water, it might float, but it's just gonna flip over, I think.
Well, only one way to find out: to the water. One last time, before we had 50cc engine powering this, now we have 850 cc's dragging it. And right now we're gonna be driving it to the side of the lake where we can go down the boat launch. Oh! Oh! No, what happened? Bro! My life flashed before my eyes. 850cc was too much power.
It's way too much power for it.
It rolls without a wheel. Kind of. All right, we're gonna need the help. This thing does not do so great. Man, it just wants to go every which way. It's about to get real crazy up here. Oh, we are getting close to the water. I have a good feeling. Matt really doesn't believe it's gonna float. I think it's gonna float perfectly. It looks sick. The lake is in the distance. We are almost here, and I am having a huge flashback because we just pulled up next to this car. And this is the last vehicle, the last car that I've driven straight into the lake. And let me tell you, it didn't float and it wasn't a boat. So now we have the red fake Bugatti made of foam. I'm having flashbacks that it might sink, and Matt might be right, but let's put it in the water for the float test, and then we can make it a boat. Well, let's push this thing down the hill. I'm gonna hop on and see if we can slide it right into the water. Ready? All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's actually kind of rolling better than I thought it would. Oh, ow, 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 ow. There's no suspension on this thing. It's so bumpy. All right, I think we slow her down. They kind of went better than I expected. We didn't launch into the water, but this is not the most gracious launch we've ever done. We are about to find out if she's gonna float or not. We're half in the water, half not. All right, hang on. We gotta spin this thing around.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the first part of the float test, it floats under its own weight, surprisingly solid. This is exactly what I was hoping for. But I still need to climb on there, and that's where things can go way wrong. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I think it feels pretty sturdy. I think it's working. I don't know if we're touching the bottom. We're about to find out. Oh, we're about to hit shore. Okay. We're dragging a little bit. Wow, this is kind of hard to believe. It's floating so well right now. Now that we know that the Bugatti floats this well in the water, the next steps is to take this back to our garage, add the jet thrusters, finish the build, and bring it back out here to the lake so I can actually drive around under my own power, and I won't need Matt on the jet ski or anything. All right, back in the garage we go. Time for a build. Turning this thing into the boat is as simple as attaching on these jet thrusters. We have a couple of these, and we need to figure out how we want to mount it right here on the side. But during the float test, we realized this thing floats incredibly well. The water line is about here, which means the jet thruster has to sit below that and extend pretty deep under the water to make sure it doesn't suck up any air and pushes only water. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're going to be mounting the foam, because foam isn't that strong. First, we need to do a bench test. Make sure these things are up and running. Both of these jet thrusters are battery powered, which means we gotta figure out how we're gonna hook these things up, how we wanna operate them, and then I need to figure out how I'm gonna operate them when I'm sitting way on top of the Bugatti. We got these huge, heavy, powerful car batteries to power this thing up, and we're gonna come up with our own custom control module. We just added power to this one thruster, and you can see that it's powered up here on the screen. The way you would normally operate this is you would twist the handle here. The more you twist it, the faster it goes, and you can turn. But we're gonna be doing it a totally different way. We're gonna be creating our own custom control module with light switches from a house. We're gonna be mounting them into here like this, so I can sit on the roof, and this is how we are going to be operating. I can flip them forward for power, and I can bring them back down to stop. We think it's gonna work, but it does look kind of insane. This build is starting to get a little bit more complicated than I originally thought. I really hope this ends up working. This is gonna be so ridiculous. And now we are finally putting on the last piece, and this is important because this is what the motors are going to be attaching to. No way. So this is our joystick controller. You have to hold it and drive it with your thumbs. That is how we're gonna be driving the Bugatti boat. That is so cool. Whew. All right, let's put her on the lift. All right, moment of truth. We are one piece of wood. This is all we need to make this thing into a boat. This is what the jet thrusters are gonna actually mount on, and because they're on the outside, we'll be able to access them when we're on the lake edge, so we can make sure they will go deep enough. The build is nearly complete. We are almost ready to test to see if this Bugatti is actually going to float and drive on water like a boat. Moment of truth, here we go. Oh my gosh, it doesn't fit. Like, it's so close.
Why would it not fit over a 2x4 that direction?
And we are running into a snag. The motors are not bolting on like we expected them to. We're gonna have to figure this out if we're gonna make this thing work. One more beam across the bottom with a little gusset right here. We now have our jet thruster mounted on the side, which makes this absolutely perfect. When we're in the water, we'll have it down and deployed like this. This will be able to spin, pushing the water, making this thing an actual boat. And then to get it to the water, so it can still roll on land, we can use this feature where it pivots up, and this should just clear the height of it rolling across the ground. You want to be careful not to break this before we hit the water, but it's actually a step above a boat. This thing is going to be amphibious. Oh, that's so heavy.
Oh gosh, careful. Ugh. Now we need to ratchet strap that in, and we'll lower it down so we can wire it all in.
All that's left to do is to add the whole wiring harness so everything connects to one another, and we're running into a few issues because we do not want any of these connections to be living underwater. Water and electricity is not a good mix, and it's probably going to mess things up. So we're gonna have to add a few more wires than we initially thought, connect it all together, bring it through the holes, and tie it all together, and hopefully it works. I'm really starting to question if this is even gonna work at all. We might be way in over our heads here. This is crazy. This is where things get real. We have a lot of wires coming into this. We need to make sure that we put the right wires to the right things. Otherwise, this whole thing could go up in smoke. And at this point, I've kind of lost track of what we were planning to do. So this is all up to Matt, knowing which all these unlabeled wires, and there's 9 of them. They all need to go to the exact right spot where this big battery is going to be dumping power to the wrong thing.
And that should be it, so that could be tightened down.
Okay.
And then this black wire goes to this white wire. And then all we need to do is this ground has to go to there.
Moment of truth, I think we got the wiring harness all figured out. And if it is, it means when I flip this up, this right motor should move forward. Yes! And when I turn it down, it turns off, okay? Our right motor is working. Let's see if our left one is as well. 3, 2, 1. Yes. We're gonna be able to drive this on the water almost like a joystick. This kind of reminds me of like a video game controller or like arcade or something, but in real life. This is so cool. Oh yes, she rolls. The jet thrusters are not hitting the ground at all, which is perfect. And now we are ready for the boat test. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, guys. This Bugatti has been through a lot. Well, this is it. We got the Bugatti boat on the edge of the lake. Let's stick it in and see if it actually is a working boat. I'm ready. Just gotta slowly roll it across the edge. This is where we need to be a little bit careful though. This thing looks crazy already. We're not even in the water yet. Okay, we are down the ledge. We have a few feet to go before this thing takes float. It is still rolling, surprisingly. Okay, she's taking float. I gotta get out there. They're going on full speed. We gotta go a little deeper first. Okay, flipping this one. I believe we are locked. Okay, what is the move as far as getting on here? Okay, I guess I'm gonna ride it from the back to start. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we are officially floating and it is time to get the thrusters flipped forward. Here we go, in 3, 2, 1. It's moving. It's totally working. We are getting speed. Okay, I need to get on top of this thing. This is so cool. I have great control over it. Easy to drive. The Bugatti from Temu is now a boat. Let's go. Yes, guys, the Bugatti boat is working. It's honestly amazing. I love how quiet it is. It's super easy to drive. I have to say, I think this was a huge success. We're coming in for a landing. And cut the motors. Boom, guys, this is perfect. The Bugatti boat is actually amazing. This was an incredible build. If you guys love videos like this and want to see more, comment down below, subscribe right now. What should we do with the Bugatti next? Peace. Woo!